We finally got on, didn't we? All right. Well, I hope you're all still there. I apologize. I had to go completely start all over. So, my apologies. But I hope you're there, and we just had issues. Okay. So, what we're going to talk about today is why we need to send love to our world leaders. And I want to explain a little bit. Those of you on my Facebook, and yes, you can see our baby back there. Oh, thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Gilda. I so appreciate your hanging in there and sending love because, yes, I need it. And I want to talk about why our world leaders need it. And those of us in the US, we really need it right now. So I'm going to, even though I know I have an international audience, I know what's happening in the US is affecting our international audience, and it's affecting the greater world. So what I say today applies to all leaders of the world. And well, not all, because we have some really, really strong, good leaders that really want to help their countries and help the world. But unfortunately, we have some who don't, including the leader of the US. And what I want to say, they're all men. Yes, hello, we have contact. Yay, thank you so much for hanging in there. Okay. Sheila, Gilda, Gaida. I'm sorry. I always want to say your name wrong, so forgive me, Gaida. I'm so grateful that you're there, that we're live, and thank you for the love that you're sending. It's crazy. I'm not sure what happened, but I'm in a rural area, and so our internet, we pay high prices for internet that doesn't work real well sometimes. And I think we have had some storm. So also one of the TV companies has been working on the lines near here, and that may have something to do with it as well. Anyway, we are here now, and we're going to talk about, excuse me, we're going to talk about why we have to send love to the world leaders. Again, some of them are great, and they care about their families. They care about the country. They care about the world. Then we have those who really care only about themselves, and they're wounded. And wounded people wound others. And wounded people are here in the world. And you've heard me say it before, whether the wound is personal, an individual, the wound is a country, we have to open that wound up, because if we heal it wrong, if we just stuff it, this is what happens. And the wound is still there, and eventually it will explode. And when it explodes, the pus has to come out, and we have to close it properly. And I'm going to talk mainly about the US, but this affects the whole world. The men mostly, and a couple of women, they're wounded. They have deep wounds that they're not healing, that they're not looking at. These are childhood wounds. They're not healthy. They're not grown-up adults who want to help humanity, who want to help the countries, who want to help the people. And so what we have to do is, if we send them anger, if we send them hate, if we call them names, that's not helping anybody, and it's not helping our countries. So we have to send, I'm not saying we don't get angry. I'm not saying that we don't recognize what's going on. We must be aware of what's going on. We must take any actions we can to counter. People's lives are at stake. And I'm not going to start crying, I promise. But what we must do is, first of all, we must send love to ourselves. We have to love ourselves. So we have to heal our wounds that like this. So we may have to pull the pus open and heal wounds like this. So we have to, first of all, heal wounds, our own wounds. We do that, first of all, by sending love to ourselves. We have to learn to love ourselves. Once we love ourselves, then we can love others. That's our first step to everything. The second step is be kind, show empathy. And this includes those who are wounded. Now, that's not to say we don't say stop. We don't let people wound us, including the presidents of companies and the presidents of countries. So, yes, we do what we can to stop it, stop the hurt. Don't let ourselves be hurt, stop the hurt, but stay in a place of love. So when we get angry, stomp our feet, yell at words, but then come back to a place of love. Speak out against the policies. Speak this business of getting personal about a person and calling them names isn't helping. The policies, that's what we must speak out against. That's what we must speak up against. We must, though, continue to send them love and ask in our prayers for there to be enlightenment, for there to be light in their hearts. So this being of hurting others, this error of using politics and power to hurt others, it must give way to the new age of love. It must. You know, every day I remind myself the pus has to come out. And honestly, I do think that we're close. We're not there, but we're close. And every day, if you're on my Facebook page, if you're a Facebook friend, you might have seen that every day I say, I have to remind myself that it's always darkest before the dawn, that the climax, before we reach that climax in a story, we're hearing everything that's going wrong and the horrible, and oh my, and then the climax comes and everything's beautiful at the end. I remind myself that when there is a bottom, and when we hit that bottom, we bounce back up and we bounce higher than we were. That if we have a step of, let's say life is 10 steps, and if we take the first step, we may fall back down to the bottom. If we get up to rung 2, we're only going to fall back to the rung 1, and so forth. And once we get to rung 9, we're only going to fall back to 7 or even 8 and 10 and so forth. We don't fall all the way back to the bottom, and we bounce back up. We're not going to allow all of that is happening to stop us from loving ourselves and loving others. Is this hard? Oh my gosh, yes, my friends, it is. But we can do it. I would love to have a World Loving Day. And I hope somebody puts that together. I don't think I have a big enough audience to create that, but I think we will have that. But what we can do is we can hold each other's hearts. We can reach out to one another and hold ourselves in love, hold each other in love, and know we're not alone. We're not. We can do this. We can change the world. You know, I think how unhappy a billionaire must be. And it breaks my heart to think how unhappy they are, to want to make others so miserable. Don't let them. Don't let them make you unhappy. Send yourself love. Send love out into the world. Be kind to yourself every day. Do a kindness for someone else. Accept lovingly the kindnesses that come back to you. We can do this. We can do this. We're going to get our message from Phillip in a moment. I want to say hello. Judy is saying, sending love to all in the world. Thank you, Diana and Phillip. And she's sending love to us. And Carol says, months ago, I was guided to do a healing. I lied down and was given healing to myself. Then I was guided to send love, especially to the most oppressive leaders. It was an amazing experience. Thank you, my Celtic sister. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. That's a great way of doing it. But every day, if all you do is say, I love myself, love me, I love me, I love me, and then I love you, and think about those oppressive leaders and send them love. We also want to send love to the good leaders like Zelensky of Ukraine. He's a good leader. He's a strong leader. Our Canadian friends, send love to them. Our friends in Mexico, send love to them and their leaders, because they are good, strong leaders caring about their people. The leader in the U.S. is not. Right now, in Russia, China, the Israeli leader, they're not caring about the people. Send them love, because they are wounded. I think you know this book, The Master's Book of Answers by Phillip. It's an oracle book, and we're going to stop there. Each page just has a different saying on it. If you heard, I'm getting some strong left, but I'm also hearing right. So we're going to go with left, because that's a little bit stronger. So if you heard left, our intuition's just in sync, and this is our message for the week. Page 72, the destination you reach depends on the direction you choose. The destination you reach depends on the direction you choose. Choose love, my friends. We can do this together. The more love that goes out, the more we're going to change our world to love. And in the meantime, our private worlds become more loving. We see the sunset or the sunrise. We see the clouds in the skies and the beautiful messages we receive. We have so much more love in our own lives. And remember, receive it. Receive it as well as give it. So if you heard page 73, this is why we were getting a strong message for both sides. But I do think that the left side, the destination you reach, depends upon the direction you choose. And we're all going to choose love. And Carol, again, thank you for that meditation you told us about. But if you heard right, even when you sleep, God is awake. Even when you sleep, God is awake. God to me is not a religion. God is the energy of everything that is love. God is the energy of everything, but let's have God, that perfect love. So we're sending love and we're sending light. We are going to heal this world. We can do it, my friends. Remember, it's always darkest before the dawn. Sheila says, thank you, Diana. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you. And Sheila lives in Amsterdam, and my knowledge of Amsterdam is it's a beautiful country. And I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think your leaders are the good leaders that care about the people. You know, the U.S. has a lot to atone for. We buried, here in the U.S., we buried a lot of wrongs. We hurt the Native Americans. We destroyed their lands, but they were strong and they came back. We hurt people of color. We've hurt women. The pus has to come out. And remember, those who are wounded, if we can send them enough love, perhaps that wound will break open their heart a little bit and change things. And Sheila says, well, politicians are politicians, if you know what I mean. And then she gives us a smile. Okay. The politicians are far from perfect people in many ways. I do know a couple of good ones, or that did their best. Right now, it's hard to find them. So, my friends, I love you. Thank you for hanging in there with me with our issues earlier on the internet, and send yourself love first. Thank you for the love then that you send to us, to others, and to our world leaders. And hopefully they'll get a little bit of that love and light. Sheila says, bye-bye. Have a great weekend. Everybody have a great weekend. See you next week, if not before. I love you.